Hey everybody, it's Stuart Macadam here, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you some Facebook ads tips for 2021. Now obviously there's been a lot of changes recently that have happened on the Facebook platform, so it's important to keep up to date and aware of those changes, as well as having a strategy that's timely and relevant as well, because the competition is getting bigger and bigger on all the social media platforms, particularly Facebook, which is still the largest social media platform out there right now across the world. So let's jump straight into it. My only charge for you is that you smash that like button. Some people package up this knowledge and charge, hundreds, even thousands of dollars for it. And my only request is that you hit that like button just below. And if you have any questions or comments or any thoughts or feedback that you'd like to provide about the videos that I'm doing, and also just about Facebook marketing and Facebook ads in general, just feel free to drop a comment. So with that said, let's get straight into it. So the first thing that's most important is just getting up to date on the Apple iOS changes. Now, there have been a lot of articles, there have been a lot of stories, there's been a lot of news coverage out there about the Apple iOS changes, and I will include a link to the video that I have done on those iOS changes in the description below after this. And this will sort of talk about things that are really important, which is, making sure that if you've got a website with more than 8 conversion events, to get that fixed straight away. Make sure that you're aware of the real-time differences, that there could be delays in the reporting attributions that come in. Some of the results may be estimated because not everyone who is on the iOS 14 platform is going to opt in. Tracking is going to be underreported naturally. It's going to be very, very tough to retarget to people who haven't opted in, and there's probably a very good chance if they're on an iPhone with iOS 14 and haven't opted in, they won't see your retargeting ads at all. And it's just going to be harder to promote app installs as well. So those are just a couple of the changes. Make sure you're up to speed on those and have an understanding and awareness of how this is going to affect you, whether it's your business and you're running the ads for your business, whether you are running ads for clients, or whether you're working at a company and you're in charge of the Facebook advertising. Have a look at how you could possibly target differently, and just make sure that your strategy has been adjusted to accommodate for these changes, because they are going to be very big and they are going to affect you in some way if you just lie back and do nothing, because if you do that, you're going to slide backwards. So stay in the loop about these changes, get it as up-to-date understanding as possible, and definitely look at getting some sort of tracking analytics that are outside of Facebook, so that you've got real-time data that is coming in and feeding you accurate information, so that if you are wanting to strategize and scale your campaigns up, that you can do that. So be very mindful of that. Let's move on to the next one. It is getting comfy with the Facebook Business Suite. Now, there's been quite a few questions from people that have asked, hey Stuart, are you going to do a video on the Facebook Business Suite? Are you going to do anything here, like do a tutorial or walkthrough or something like that? And the answer is not at the moment. I'm still getting my head around a lot of the changes and the features right at the moment that are going on with the Business Suite. There's still a couple of things that I need to figure out and just get on top of before putting a video together, but that doesn't stop you from having a look around, checking out if you look at the left-hand section here, the homepage, activity, inbox posts, that sort of thing, a lot of it is reasonably self-explanatory. It doesn't actually need an extensive tutorial video on all of this, on what's being done and how you can promote and that sort of thing. It's really just integrating it together. So if you've got this platform on your phone, make sure that you are using it to your advantage, and make sure that everything is sort of being tracked and monitored effectively, because there's nothing worse than having something that is, a campaign that isn't being tracked, isn't being monitored. And the whole reason why Facebook Business Suite came together in the first place was because they wanted to have something which really just allowed people the opportunity to be as in tune with the analytics and sort of advertising and in the messages that they're getting and being as in tune as possible. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. And that takes us on to the next one, which is learning how to interpret data. So obviously this looks like a lot of different random sort of phrases and things, and that's okay if you don't understand all of this, but it's important to first have a look here at what the click-through rate for your ads is, how many clicks you're getting, what the engagement is, what if you're running ads, what your return on ad spend is at the moment. Make sure that it's at a level where you are able to get good real-time analytics and data. And make sure you know how to interpret it. The most important factors that you want to look at is if you're running ads for selling a product or a course or a service, look at your return on ad spend. Look at your cost per lead. Look at your click-through rate. Have a look at how many people your ads are being served to, how frequently they're being served. Because if you're doing broad-based targeting, you probably don't want to hit people more than 1.5 times per ad. If you're running local-based targeting, if you're over 3 or 4 times serving the same cold ad up to people, then it's probably time to adjust your strategy a little bit and start trying to reach other people. So those are a couple of things that are important. And also have a look at your engagement rate ranking as well, because Facebook will give you an indication of how your ad compares against your competitors in that scene. So that's going to be very important. So make sure you know how to do that, and make sure that it's something as well that is going to be something that is relevant. Also very important too, make sure you can have some level of engagement as well, because you don't want to be doing something where people are looking at your videos and looking at all your stuff and engaging well, but they're not actually converting into customers. So that's a very important thing to be mindful of at the moment. Next one is test them all. When you're running campaigns, the worst thing that you can do is to have one campaign, one ad set, and one ad. That is such a poor strategy, and so many businesses do it, even very well established ones at the moment. It really costs them a lot of time and money, because effectively, if you were to imagine a big circle, which is your target market, just imagine drawing a dot with a pencil or a pen. That is what one campaign, one ad set, and one ad does. So if you have, say for example, multiple ad sets and multiple ads, so let's say what my recommended outline is, which is 3 ad sets and 3 ads within each ad set. So that would be 333, so that would be targeting 27 different times. So imagine drawing 27 dots in that circle. All of a sudden, you're much more likely to reach a larger target market, and you're able to actually see as well where those dots and circles might actually be bigger as a proportion of who you're targeting and how effective it is, as opposed to a singular one where there's actually nothing to compare it against. So be very mindful of that. Next one is to have a plan of attack ready for the public holidays. So if you're living in the Western world, you'll find Easter, Queen's birthday weekend, Labor Day, Black Friday, Christmas and New Year's tend to be the big ones here. If you're in the United States, it's probably going to be Thanksgiving as well. And if you're in some of the other countries, there may be like your national day, like Canada Day, Australia Day. New Zealand has Waitangi Day. And, the list goes on and on, depending on what country you're in. So make sure that you have got a Facebook ads plan for those target periods, especially if you're selling products or you're trying to generate interest for your products at that period of time. Make sure you are going on those times at those days. 6 is, if you are looking to hire someone, make sure you get that expert or guru to tell you their biggest failure and what they learned from it. And I'm more than happy to share my biggest failure and what I learned from it as well. So a couple of years ago, I used to work for a car lease and finance company, and one of the campaigns that we looked at running was a messenger bot campaign to get message conversions running. That campaign was set up with the hope that it would make it easier for clients to engage and interact with us, with the hope of passing those leads on to different sales agents. We set this all up. We used the similar messaging and targeting that we had done before, which had worked quite well, but we found that the cost per messaging conversion was about 2 to 3 times higher, and we just let it run for a couple of days to see what the results were. Found that after a period of time, the cost just kept going up and up and up and up, and eventually we realized that it was not actually an effective and sustainable campaign. Underestimated that our target market was very busy, very time conscious, needed an answer either straight away or within sort of 2 or 3 minutes that they sent the message, rather than having somebody come on at a later time and then respond to it. So we realized that that was probably the biggest mistake, was not actually understanding that the target market was stretched for time, needed more information and resources available. So I would recommend that if you're hiring someone else, get them to tell you a story like that, what they learned from it, what failures that they have had, because every company, whether they admit it or not, has had failures at some point in time, and it's most important to understand how they react in those situations, because if you bring them on board to work for your business, for your organization, and things aren't going as well as possible, you at least have that knowledge that they're going to respond in a particular way. And if it's a way that you think is suitable, can turn the performance around, then fantastic. If not, you can understand that it's probably best to end the relationship. So be very mindful of that. Next one is be prepared for more changes, because with all the Apple iOS 14 changes, it's not actually the first time that these changes have been made on the Facebook platform in some way. I mean, I remember operating 7 years ago now on Facebook ads, and the landscape was completely different. Business Manager was, sort of kind of still being rolled out in some ways. There were a lot of features that weren't readily available, and the focus and the targeting was a lot different, and in many ways more effective because the competition was a lot lower. So as time goes on, there's going to be more sort of structural changes that may affect the amount of people that you can reach. It could increase the cost per click. It could make the market a little bit more competitive. It may push some of the ads that you're running for clients into particular special categories. So that is something that is hugely, to be expected. You want to make sure that you've got some sort of knowledge in keeping up with it. So there's different publications, there's different YouTube channels. Mine's but one. If you're looking for something a bit more rounded, go to adhoc.help/insightful. I'll include a link below for the landing page there, and they've got a subscription platform which gives you up-to-date insights on all of the social media changes which are going on in the different platforms. So Facebook's one of them, and they also cover a huge number of other social platforms as well, like LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. So they're reasonably good in keeping you up to date on those changes. Next thing is Newsfeed on mobile for cold ads. I just wanted to show you this example here. This is from a campaign that I ran recently for one of my ads, and as you can see right here, there's 31 link clicks. 25 of them, 25 were from the Newsfeed on the mobile app, and running those for a couple of other clients as well, it has proven to be very effective. So if you're looking to run a split test at the moment for any lead generation ads, for engagement ads, and also for like client sort of with a goal of getting client sales, then I'd highly recommend you run a split test with sort of broad-based targeting and then also Newsfeed mobile app only placements. Number 9 as well is, of course, storytelling. Some of the most effective Facebook marketers out there right now tell stories. And if you look right here, I mean, I've just got some, the Humpty Dumpty one, the Queen of Hearts, like sort of just nursery rhyme type stories. And the reason why these stories are so effective and so powerful is because told to somebody at a young age or told to somebody at any age, it's quite small, catchy, and you can remember it forever. I remember the second one there, the Queen of Hearts one, and being told that one at 12 years old. For some reason, it's just stuck in my memory ever since. So being aware of these stories, continuously telling them over and over again, either in the same way or in a slightly modified way with different ad creators or in slightly different wording, can be a very effective way to sort of build up trust, cooperation between your potential lead and someone who could eventually become a potential customer. So stay mindful of that as well. Make sure you always tell stories, whether it's testimonials, whether it's your own journey towards where you are now, or whatever it may be. Number 10 is doing some courses on Facebook marketing. Now, I'd be very interested to hear your guys' thoughts. I've thought for a while now that some of the best courses out there on Facebook marketing are by Sam Ovens, like sort of Facebook training and his consulting accelerator. There is a fantastic one by, I think it's Depeche Mandalia. There is, like, Russell Brunson has done the odd thing here and there with Facebook ads. I would just say go to the Facebook ads library and have a look at some of his ads that he's done. KW Content has got Strong Brand Social, which is a fantastic course for beginners. And there's also plenty of other Facebook courses on Udemy. So I'd be very interested to know your guys' thoughts on some of the best Facebook marketing courses that you've done so far, either in the last year or in the last couple of years. There are obviously hundreds, possibly even thousands of ones out there. So, really getting an idea on which one's the best one. There is no sort of like set answer, but my recommendation is that if the course costs more than $300, there needs to be some sort of long-term justification for what kind of results it'll give you and what sort of resources you will have access to. I would say having a lifetime access to a course like that would be obviously number one. And the second thing as well is having resources and prompters. So like the Strong Brand Social workbook, like had this workbook which gave you like 100 prompters, which in my opinion is probably worth the entire $37 that you paid for the course. Sam Ovens' one had a whole breakdown and overview of the Facebook ads, like sort of just the foundation of it, how it works, how to set everything up, how to get the most effective results, how to target people properly, and how to use language that speaks to people rather than sells to people. So that would be something which is definitely high on the priority list. I've got a couple of courses that I'm going to line myself up to do in the next couple of months. I'm always looking to improve and get better, and particularly with the Apple iOS 14 changes, if someone's putting out a course on that alone, I might even just invest a couple of $100s into doing just that course, just so I'm staying in line with the current trends and changes, and also pushing to get a greater knowledge of things as well. Next thing is to ask the market what problems they have. Everybody's got problems of some sort that are frustrating them. I can't find a proper way to manage my time. I am always busy. I can't lose weight. I'm struggling to find this particular product in the shop. I need to get the lights in my house changed to LED lights. So no matter what industry you're in, there's always going to be something that people have problems that they're looking for solutions for. So making sure that you know what your target market's problems are one of the foundations to building a strong and effective business. And that leads to the next thing, which is coming up with solutions to these problems. So if you're somebody that is wanting to help electricians get more clients, have a look at what the biggest problems these electricians have and look at the solution that you can provide. Is it using language? Is it using long ad copy? Is it using short ad copy? Is it using videos that can speak to people's problems? Is it something else altogether? Is it the fact that these electricians say that they're based all around Auckland or all around New Zealand or Australia, but they spend 95% of their time just working in one particular city or one particular area of that city. So make sure you understand that. So I'm going to leave it there for today. I hope you found these tips incredibly useful. 2021 is going to be an interesting year for Facebook ads and Facebook marketing, but if you make sure that you're staying ahead of the game, you're keeping up to date with the changes, and you're also just testing things and finding those problems and identifying solutions to them, then it's going to be a good year for you. So let me know your thoughts on this video in the comments section below, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you very much.